welcome. This is Evil Uno's Mystery Podcast. We're doing a pilot episode here in my living room / room. It's really one of two rooms in my house. We're all here, and who is we? Well, I'm Evil Uno, professional wrestler and co-owner of Mystery Wrestling, but I am not here alone. I am here with my wife, Mrs. Uno, who is somewhere in this. I have two different camera shots I'm looking at. She's here, though. There she is. I'm also with two of co-owners. We have Steven, hello, Steven, who is manning the audio as we speak. Man of the people. In many ways, but also a man of audio, and that is why he is doing the audio today. You may not hear as much of Steven because we didn't fixate him with a mic, but you will hear him anyways. Other than that, you may have heard of him because on all of our social posts, a lot of our posts, he'll sign up for it. Mystery Patrick, he is pretty much the man behind the visual aspects of Mystery. So camera work, the graphics, the visual aesthetic. That all comes from his mind. My mind just contacts people to come do the show. That's really about the extent of what I do for Mystery Wrestling. Oh, and I commentate, if you didn't know that much. So what is the Mystery Podcast? Well, we're not entirely sure 100% what it is, but it is something that we want to provide to you here on patreon.com/Mystery Wrestling. You might be watching it right now on YouTube for free. You could be doing that right now, and if you are, we thank you very much for watching this. We will be uploading more content for free on YouTube as well, but with a portion of this podcast will be available exclusively on patreon.com/Mystery Wrestling, where you can also find all of our video on demand videos for Mystery Wrestling. So if you want to see Mystery Wrestling 1 all the way to 7, or any of our supplementary content, including our French shows, Le 07, or a new series that we will be debuting where we commentate on local independent Canadian wrestling shows, well then you can find that content all on patreon.com/Mystery Wrestling, or if you want to simplify it, MysteryWrestling.com.
That's right.
So, what is this pilot all about? Well, we're just going to talk about our lives. We're going to talk about Mystery Wrestling. We're going to talk about our week in the week of our lives that we are currently doing. It's 420 today. That has nothing. Blaze it indeed.
Happy 420.
Happy 420, all you.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with why I'm rambling. But I'm trying to tell you so that you have an understanding of what this week is like when I start talking about it. But we're going to be talking about what we've been doing during the week. We're going to be talking about Mystery Wrestling. And then most importantly, as we post these more often and as we continue on forward, we will be asking you for what kind of questions you want to hear from me, Evil Uno, from Mrs. Uno, from Mystery Patrick, or even Steven.
Even Steven.
If you want answers from Steven as well. Ask us those questions.
That's right.
No matter how stupid they are, we'll try to answer them, and we will do a little section of the podcast dedicated to that. How's everyone's week been?
Been pretty good. Been pretty chill, relaxed, you know. I was kind of happy the weather was shit, you know?
So
I could play video games.
Yeah, I'm a fan of when it's actually rainy and stuff. It validates the fact that I don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
I've been playing a lot of, well, this is not my video game podcast. You can listen to that one with Adam Cole. But I've been playing a lot of video games recently. But predominantly, and I know you have as well, and Mrs. Uno as well, because she has no choice. She watches it with me. We've been watching a lot of anime.
Hell yeah.
Yep. A lot of anime. I've been reading manga. I've been watching anime. We're currently together watching two different series. We're watching Spy X Family. Do you know about that one?
I don't. No.
So it's about essentially a spy who needs to infiltrate a school, and so he has to start a new family. He has to find a child that he has to adopt and essentially convince everyone is his daughter, and he also has to find a wife that he has to convince everyone is his daughter.
Oh, shit.
But then in a pretty quick fashion, the adopted child ends up being a psychic, and the adopted wife, which is that how it, or his wife, the new wife is actually an assassin. So it's like all three are leading mystery lives, and and it's been very neat. I've been watching a lot of that. I know and I'll let you talk about the ones you're watching because I think are you wearing the shirt too? Yeah. You are. Hell yeah.
Dragon Balled out, man.
You're all Dragon
I'm all Dragon Balled out. That's
right. The other one we've been watching was I started, and you could talk about this too. My Hero Academia. Is that
Academia?
Academia. I'm French first, so some words will come out weird. So we just finished season 1, and it's great.
Dude,
I took us so long to get started on it. It's pretty incredible, honestly.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I guess no spoilers or nothing, but it's kind of like just All Might, the big hero character. It's like fun to see a character that has like a contrast where like you really see a depressed, like crappy version of the guy that
yeah,
you
he's
can
like
relate
not
to
constantly on. He has like a not an alter ego, but he has a portion of him where he's actually like crushed and weak
and the more he has to keep it up, the more it destroys him.
I really like the quirky. I mean, this is like an anime trope at this point, but the fact that they have so many different characters that you can meet.
Yeah.
Like in the last episode, we met Cementos, which is you see him for about 7 seconds, but like just the reveal of seeing a character that looks like a slab of concrete is hilarious. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's true.
And other than that, on my own time, I started reading and also watching Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, nice.
Which you and I have talked about this off screen, but is the creator of Yu Yu Hakusho.
I think that's
Ghost Stories.
Yes,
the
Ghost Files or Ghost Stories.
Maybe Ghost Files. I
think Files is in there.
And that's like a 90s anime that I actually have not seen.
Yeah.
At all. You're currently watching that too,
yeah,
right?
I think I think I've just finished season 1, and it's really cool. It's like really strong dialogue. Like it's more like psychological and stuff. So yeah, but there's still action in it. So it's like a cool mix. It's like Death Note, but with a bit of fighting in a way.
I haven't seen it either, but I'm kind of interested in checking it out.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. I'll watch it at some point. I like because I'm watching his other thing called Hunter x Hunter, and that's another one where it's just you're introduced all kinds of zany characters, and I think that's kind of what I like from anime is that every episode, like you would watch a television show and you'd get a monster of the week, and every week, like Power Rangers, you get a monster of the week, you get one person you're introduced to. In anime, they'll like throw 12 at you and they'll kill 7 of them. But like the 3 seconds that you get for each person is like a little joke. And I really, I don't know, I guess I enjoy that pattern in anime a whole lot.
I really like when they get into tournaments. That's when I get most stuff.
Yeah.
Because that like you're going to get so many weird characters and like interactions and stuff. That's what I like. And you get to see the weaker ones shine because like they also have their own arcs in the tournaments and stuff.
That's like what I liked about Dragon Ball. I think everyone was like a Dragon Ball Z fan, and I was like a Dragon Ball original fan, mostly because of the tournaments.
Yeah.
Like getting to see Yamcha do stuff, Tien, a lot of like the side characters, and finally like getting to see that they're strong too. They're just not Son Goku strong. Is I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always liked that. And like you meet an enemy. And they build them up like crazy, only to lose within an episode. Like, I really like those a whole lot.
But also, like it also like the comparison of like, because like the other day I was thinking like Krillin and like all these humans, like they can keep up with Saiyans. So like when you think about it, it's really freaking. They're like borderline more impressive than Saiyans to me because it's like you're a human that's able to not die from one punch from Goku.
They're theoretically
you can fight them.
They're the strongest humans in reality, right? I guess I'm trying to think if there was another human, because is Tien a human?
I'm not sure about that one because
he has a third eye.
Yeah, that's his third eye.
But I don't know if that was because I think that's like a part of his martial arts practice that gives him the third eye. I don't know.
It's hard to say.
We will revisit Dragon Ball on a Dragon Ball podcast someday. I'm sure. This is a whole entire sidebar. And you're also obviously you're watching Dragon Ball right now.
Yeah.
Are you watching Super?
I'm watching Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball Z Kai. So like I
the
grew
condensed
up,
version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I grew up on Dragon Ball Z, and it's like you get lost in it so often because there's so many episodes, and Kai is like very similar to the manga, and it's been awesome.
With like the way we watch TV nowadays, when you revisit content, you may not realize that like Dragon Ball was a weekly show, and literally I think through the entirety of the year. So like a season might have 40 episodes, and really they have to stretch out because I think if I remember correctly, the books as they were airing, they were writing new stories, so they had
Yeah.
to like stretch out the anime to make sure that the books would finish an arc. And so like a lot of what people know of Dragon Ball is like Frieza and Goku yelling at each other for 7 episodes. And like the reason they do that is because on the Japanese television show, it was still actively on TV every week. And so they'd extend it so that they had enough time to make the mangas.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that would explain a lot.
and also, you know, a lot of conventional TV now might be 10 episodes, 13 episodes, or at max 20.
Yeah.
When you're doing like 50 episodes a year with only a few weeks off, there's only so much you can do. And so I'm sure it was like reusing animations and stuff too.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Super?
I have.
Is it good?
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a cool like hybrid between Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, where there's a lot of fighting, but there's so much humor.
Yeah.
And like
I kind of missed the humor when I was. I love Z. Don't get me wrong. I think Z is incredible.
Yeah, Super like at points like a bowl of ramen can like save the universe at like certain points, and it's just like it's really dumb fun. And Beerus is a character that I know he's really controversial. Like I think a lot of people hate him, but I like him. I like him a lot. Apparently he's like overpowered and stuff. I don't know. I'm not too much of a purist, I don't think.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of Super, but I haven't watched either Super or GT, so I know very little of like those universes.
Yeah,
But
I haven't seen
I
GT.
definitely want to jump into Super for sure. I heard bad things about GT.
Same.
Stu Grayson speaks ill of GT all the time,
Yeah.
but he still likes it. It's like a weird middle ground for him.
You still get cool
He
artwork.
watches it, but he's mad about it.
Yeah. Well, he's mad about a lot of things, so that's kind of his default.
That's his thing, yeah.
Other than that, we've already discussed anime, but I've been watching a lot of television.
Yeah.
We also got really into some Korean shows recently. We watched Physical 100, which is essentially they take 100 of Korea's top South Korea, just so we're being clear here. They take 100 of South Korea's.
They're willing
Yeah,
participants.
they willingly showed up on this show. They take 100 of their best athletes and they make them compete in like games. And I don't know if it's because it's a South Korean show and maybe what they're allowed to make people go through is a little more crazy than what an Americanized show would be. But they make these people go through hell.
Hell.
Oh yeah.
Literal
Insane hell. I don't want to spoil this, but this is the best way to explain it. At one point late in the game, they have 100 people and they're slowly chopping them down. At one point, they have to do like one-on-one battles between each other, and that's self-explanatory.
Okay.
But when it gets to the later part of the season, they have a strongman competition where they have to hold a boulder that I believe is over 100 pounds.
I think it was like 200 pounds.
Okay, it might even be 200 pounds.
I think-
So, and it's based on like Atlas, the one that's holding the globe.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's based on like that statue of Atlas holding the globe. And so the idea is that, okay, can you hold 200 pounds on your shoulder? And they make people go through this, and they hold that boulder for over 2 hours.
My God.
And
Because
they
it's last
make
man
them,
standing.
yeah, it's last man standing, and they make these people do it for real. They made people hang from their forearms for as long as humanly possible until one of the contestants, after they were done the game, said his arms don't work the same way they used to. Like
Jeez.
he like just doesn't have the sensation in his arms anymore. So we've been watching that, and it's been great.
That's pretty.
There's 2 seasons of
Yeah.
that now.
There's
so.
2 seasons of that. That's a lot of fun. It's
wild.
And we watched another one called Siren, which is they took like people from different, once again, South Korea, willing participants.
All women.
All women in this one. They take people from different, practices in life. So like police officers, bodyguards, stunt women, firefighters, and soldiers.
Okay.
There might be one I'm missing in there.
Bodyguard. Use a bodyguard.
Yeah,
that's all.
it might have been 5. And they
There was
throw.
6.
There might be 6. Either way, they throw them all on an island,
Yeah.
and they all have to find, like, they all get assigned a base, and they have to essentially, at one point each day, fight each other for base ownership in a kind of like capture the flag situation.
Oh my God.
But like these women go hard. They dig up traps. They throw smoke bombs. They tackle each other. It's
Oh.
South Korean TV rules.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah,
That sounds awesome.
I feel like all these shows would never exist here in Canada.
Or even in America, but
If they were American, we would talk.
I think people would like really hurt each other though, like really hurt each other.
Yeah.
We talk about this ourselves, but like an Americanized show would just be so full of drama and like would just. I don't feel like the people would jump at each other as hard. Or they would get worse. The competition between two competitors would lead to blows and stuff.
Yeah,
but there's a lot more respect, at least on these South Korean shows.
Yeah, because I've watched Slap House.
Slap House? Oh, is that that was like after AEW for a short period of time? Am I wrong?
I think so.
Yeah, where they had like slap battles.
It's like the Ultimate Fighter, but for slap fighting.
Oh wait, they literally they live in a house and then they slap each other.
Yeah.
That's cool. The only way that the slap fighting was ever entertaining to me is because it was the build up where like they're in the house and they're talking shit to each other and they're like, I'm gonna slap you, and they're just like, and you have like their super sad. Well, that's the part that's like bittersweet. Like they have their super sad backstories or like this slap, is gonna bring me to the promised land, and then they finally get to slap each other, and it's like it's gnarly.
My grandmother will finally get that treatment if I could just slap him hard enough.
Like in reality shows, you never get the payoff where they're just like, all right, you get to both slap each other at full strength. So that's why it was like that. The fact you could see them have all that drama, and then, but at the same time, it's so messed up. It should not exist.
For the slap fighting, the only clips I've ever seen are the knockouts, or like I saw this one. And maybe we'll post edit it in, but probably not. But that's too much work. Where a guy gets slapped in the face, and I guess like his whole side of his head essentially creates a tumor. It bloats up like
I think
almost
it was hematomas, right? Is that
hematoma. There you go. Thank you. I'm not a doctor. And,
me neither.
And like, but he keeps competing. Like he gets back up and he's like, okay, next slap. Oh
what
my
if
god!
That like bursts, Like
I have no idea. So I'm pretty sure that aired on television and only lasted like 2 episodes before it was canceled, right?
I think like they had the whole reality show aired and stuff, and now that they just have like pay-per-views, but it's like without all the drama surrounding the slapping, it's just so gratuitous and like
dangerous.
And like
so dangerous.
But look, no matter what, it's dangerous and screwed up.
Well, we put on a freak show at Mystery Wrestling, but I can say almost with 100% certainty we'll probably never put on a slap fight.
And that's like the one rule we hammer in is like you don't have to
hurt yourself.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself. Don't do anything to hurt yourself. Like just have an interesting, cool, original.
Like you could be the world champion of slap fighting, and your career is less than a year, I would think. Right? How often do you have to fight? The first of all the concussions, but like you can't get hit in the face that hard constantly. Like mixed martial artists fight every 6 months, and they protect themselves from blows.
Yeah.
These guys have to like just grit their teeth and take it. There's no way. There's no way. That's crazy.
It's the craziest thing. It's crazy.
Your eardrums, your eyeballs, like just wires got to get knocked loose.
Yeah,
like they change inputs, and you just
it's terrifying.
Everything goes like.
Anything else from your week you guys want to discuss? Anyone out loud? No.
I did a cool painting this week.
Yeah, Miss Suno did a painting. You could. Is it on your socials?
Not yet.
Will it be?
Prop it up here.
Probably.
Okay, well, Mrs. Uno will likely post on her socials, so do find her at Mrs.Uno.
No.
No? What is it?
I don't know.
Okay, well, Google it.
I know on like Twitter, I'm like Mrs. Uno 3 because Mrs. Uno is
my
dead.
2 previous Mrs. Uno are dead.
Yeah.
they died a horrible death.
That's right.
Okay, well, do check out that Mrs. Uno painting. It's very good. Of the Mrs. Uno paintings she's done, I think is my favorite.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, I mean, not me, but I want to give a little shout out because there's been some interesting, cool stuff that's happened in wrestling. Our friends MXM, Mansoor and Mason Madden, who just recently on Mystery Wrestling 7 wrestled Fresh Air, did a pretty insane thing. There is this pro wrestling federation promotion, whatever you want to call it nowadays, an indie in Uganda, Africa, on essentially it's a backyard fed. It's not someone's backyard. It's just like on dirt called soft ground wrestling, where they dig up the dirt, and then repack it down so that it's extremely soft so that you can land on it and not hurt yourself. And they've put up ropes and stuff. And you may have seen some of the clips on social media. Like I have seen it over the last month.
Yeah.
Well, MXM, on the middle of their tour going to Dubai, so they're already traveling to the other end of the earth, decided they're going to make a stop in Africa unannounced to the public, and showed up in this federation.
Yeah.
And I wish we could showcase the clip, but I don't want to steal the revenue. You should go out and check out the
Soft Ground Wrestling
from Uganda. But
SGW.
MXM are the talk of the town this week for what they've done. And they've also, I believe on May 6th, will be doing an Achieve the Dream Twitch stream where they'll be raising funds to try and get some money to pay for housing for a lot of these people that are in.
Nice.
Yeah, because a lot of these wrestlers or a lot of the people from Soft Ground don't necessarily have proper housing or may not have like the amenities that they need. So a lot of people have been helping out. That's kind of what I like about professional wrestling. We're a weird niche in the world, but we're a weird niche in the world that if we see someone else who likes wrestling, we want to support them.
Yeah.
And I'll shout out Will Ospreay, for example. They just recently did a crowdfunding project to try and get them a pro wrestling ring because they're doing it on Soft Ground. And Will Ospreay went out of his way and donated thousands of dollars. Plenty of wrestling fans did too. Plenty of other wrestlers did as well. So it's like really neat to see that even like what is considered a backyard wrestling federation, but in Uganda, Africa, one or two clips can give you that attention from the world of professional wrestling. And the world of professional wrestling will always support something that is new, unique and new and has full of passion. And it's very neat to have seen that. So if you do get the chance, go check out that clip.
Absolutely.
It is a great time.
It's incredible. It's like, and this is what is so fun about wrestling. And it's like, we can't forget how special wrestling can be in these moments. It's like, I feel like there's so much people love to debate and like cry about bookings and stuff like that, but
or rankings or ratings
but to me, like, wrestling is just like a bunch of people that are just like tired of like mundane life, just getting together and doing something wacky and just having fun, like just escaping, you know? And so like when you just see people everywhere doing it in their own way and then supporting each other, you know, showing each other love, trying to like help each other live from it and stuff, instead of just like being mad that they're not at the spot that you watch, or I don't know. So like, it's just beautiful and refreshing to see, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, we here at Mystery Wrestling love like our little niches, our little wacky world of professional wrestling, and that's kind of like, obviously, if you watch any of our product, you know we've fully invested in the fact that wrestling can be weird, wrestling can be funny, wrestling can be anything. It's just it's an art medium. It's a like theater is not just one type of theater. There's musicals. There's melodramas. There's so on and so forth. I think wrestling's the same thing, and it's cool to see that there is still some undiscovered parts of the world that will find their own niche of wrestling and so on. And so it's very very cool.
Yeah.
Any more stuff, or should we go into our fan questions? Our fan questions. Yeah. We have tabulated some fan questions from our Patreon, patreon.com/mystery wrestling or mysterywrestling.com. If you would like to send questions on our next podcast. We also grabbed some from Twitter, since this is the pilot episode.
That's right.
And we're doing this so suddenly.
That's right. We were desperate.
We were desperate for content. We went out there and accumulated some questions. So here are some questions from our patrons and from some of our Twitter follows. You can find us on Twitter, Mystery Wrestling, no G at the end, because there's the character limit.
Yeah, too many characters.
that's all it is. That's all it is. Mystery Wrestling everywhere else except for Twitter. Mystery Wrestling,
that's
no
right.
G. No
you got to pay for the check mark.
You got to pay for the
G.
check mark, and if I have to pay to get the extra letter, I will.
That's right. All
right. What questions do we have, Patrick?
All right, so here is. I'll start with the Patreon questions.
Okay.
Since they support us more.
Oh, and I'd like to, because we haven't done it, a huge thank you to everyone who is a patron.
Yeah.
Because you may not realize this, but like your support, your financial support of any tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, even if you're not even on a tier and you're not paying, just knowing there's so much people following our content means that we can keep providing that content.
Yeah.
And that monetary support that you do helps us do this, helps us make podcasts, helps us make extra content. Our shows are not cheap. That's part of half of the jokes that we make on Mystery Wrestling is about how much money we spend. So your support goes hand in hand with the product that we are capable of giving you. And so we really appreciate the support.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Could not have said it better.
All right, question number 1, Patrick.
All right. Question number 1 is from Jen on Patreon. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm like could not be further from the mic. All right. It's obviously a lot of work and planning to put together these shows. I'd love if you could talk about some of the weirder, more unexpected issues with setting up an independent show like this. Good question.
We can all go through this because I think we all operate a different part of the show. I'll do mine real quick. Mystery Wrestling is a little different than any other wrestling show we've run because we've run other wrestling shows. We ran French shows, we did Zegwaset. We did shows that weren't under any branding. So we've done pro wrestling, just typical pro wrestling. The weird thing of Mystery Wrestling is that I might go in the day of and decide, F it, let's add some stuff. Yeah. I think the biggest example of that is we needed to kill time on a show because Gravity Pro Wrestler from Mexico was traveling from Mexico and was supposed to land at 1 p.m. and our show I think was at 5 that day.
Yeah.
He didn't make his flight. And so he got rerouted and he was going to land at 5 and we're like, oh, that's fine. By the time he gets to the airport, he'll be there for the main event. That flight got delayed. And then that flight got delayed. And so eventually what happened is that when he landed, we had to extend the show. So literally minutes before the show, I realized we had no extra wrestlers, but we had extra referees. So I just went to the referees and I said, do you guys want to have a death match today?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? I was like, you referee Louis, you referee Serge, you're going to fight each other and we need to kill 15 minutes at a time. Can you do that? They're like, yeah, can we use weapons? Absolutely. and so for me, the part that goes without there's no equal in any other wrestling show is you can't predict that stuff. Travel is the hardest part of all. Our first ever Zego 7 show, we had a wrestler that's supposed to be in the main event who will go undisclosed because he has been canceled since. But he couldn't make it. But we didn't know that until the middle of the show. So in the middle of the show, you had to restructure everything, and you promise the crowd a specific person, and you can't even tell them ahead of time that he's not going to be there because you don't know. So it's like that kind of stuff. The travel is always the hardest element, I think, for running a show.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. For example, the ref thing is probably one of the most funs I've had at Mystery Wrestling, and that was completely just filling in a spot. It was just we booked too many refs, so I think there's extra ones showed up.
So 2 shows in a row, we had one show we had a referee seminar, so we had 16 referees, and so we decided that is the referee. That's the match where Bryce Remsburg has a helmet on, and Psycho Mike literally, I think, headbutts 8 referees.
Yeah.
And so, we made use of that. And then that show, I think we had booked 5 referees, but only had 6 matches and couldn't extend it with an extra wrestler. So we were like, F it. We can kill 2 referees. That's fine.
Sometimes we forget to book a referee.
Yeah, sometimes we have quite literally. I think our first show we forgot, and then Wheeler Yuta's like, I could referee the first match.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And that explains why he did that. But that's the beauty, I think, of our show.
And also
I think it's so great.
But Patrick, you on a visual basis, we've had a few little issues that's happened, and that's pretty stressful when running a show.
It's so stressful, and it's always right when we're about to start or during the show itself. And then one thing that is always underestimated in my opinion is overheating and
we never even considered that at first. We were running so many lights, we were running so much electricity through one power. Our computers were overheating.
The first show we plugged the last light and then the whole breakers jumped
And that building was hot.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh yeah. During the summer, our little building can get pretty crazy hot.
Exactly. So sometimes so sometimes stuff is overheating and it'll start glitching or blacking out and coming back on, and then you're not sure if it's because the wire's loose, if it's overheating, if it's a connection issue, and like you have to troubleshoot live during the show.
Yeah,
so
because we do the dumb thing of like we don't record our show to air later and fix it. We just and literally we've had shows where the internet 2 minutes before we go live was trash, and we're like, well, we just gotta pray.
Yeah,
we just gotta pray. We've told everyone it's at 5, and I refuse to delay it.
That's the benefit of at least streaming the initial live stream for free on Twitch, and then we could patch it up, remaster it, whatever in post. But that's definitely like one thing that's complicated, and we have like a short window where like the venue only lets us in at a certain time, and then
we decide to run early because Sundays everyone wants to be with their families.
Exactly, and like right now, like we are not in any position where we could afford to have people like techs and stuff. So like we have like all the students that help us out, but they can't necessarily help me with all my tech stuff because like I've spent decades on this, and like I'm also very anal about my stuff. Yes.
Yeah. What people don't realize is that like we're very lucky. We have a large team because we run a wrestling school in the area, and so there's a lot of students. And like the entirety of the pro wrestling scene in Ottawa-Gatineau has decided to help us. So like we have a lot of hands, but all of those hands can't do any of our jobs.
Yeah, so I have to just like...
So like Steven's doing literally 4 jobs simultaneously. Patrick's doing at least 2 or 3 jobs simultaneously. I'm doing commentary. I'm doing social posts.
Yeah, booking, giving envelopes to wrestlers.
Paying people on the show while I'm handling the show. I'm handling the live stream. Mrs. Uno is handling like social posts and the Twitch chat, and like has to essentially be our gopher. She has to be our gopher. So like we're constantly doing stuff.
Yeah, it's a very crazy day, and like we'll just get to points where we'll just look at each other and go, and just like we're just like releasing screams of anxiety. But then when it starts and everything's going good, it's like the best feeling ever. It's awesome.
And Steven works actively on so many parts of our show too that like half of this show doesn't run without Steven because there's a ton of stuff I don't know how it happens. I just show up and the building's set up. There's lighting places. They're like rewiring the buildings for us.
Yeah, Steven is literally the magic
Steven's
man.
the magic man for our show. He's the unsung hero. Literally, there would be no show. He's off camera.
He's John Cena.
Doesn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
He looks exactly like John Cena.
Yeah, that's it. He's so jacked. He's so. He's just ripped. But it's a lot of fun to put on mystery, but there's always a little bit of a puzzle. Every single show, there's a new nuance to figure out.
When I go back home, like even like we finish our shows early, like I don't go to bed until like 5 a.m. I'm just like,
I'm so
wired up from the day.
I think I've discovered that every mystery show I end up with a new job. Like last time I had to be security at the door because fans just kept trickling in for no reason, and
there's always
something going on.
There's always a new problem that we just didn't think of.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the beauty of it too, is that, you know, you figure it out. You you just move forward. It won't be the first mistake, and it won't be the last. We're literally going to be making mistakes all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's mistake number 1, that musical chair smash. I'm going to go back to... You're going to hear about this match so often in the near future.
It's been dubbed our worst match.
It's by us.
By us.
The public didn't dislike it, but we hated it. Yeah. We hated it. All right, well, next question, Patrick. What you got on there?
All right.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, what is the worst match in mystery history?
And why is it the musical chairs match? All right. This one is from Don Becker on Patreon.
Thank you, Don.
Would you consider taking mystery wrestling on the road by partnering with indie promotions in North America? Cough, Creative Pro, cough.
Shout out to Creative Pro in New York. You guys have a great school and you make a lot of great wrestlers. Yeah, I think realistically, we would love to bring mystery to other cities. We would love to bring mystery. Right now we're a Canadian promotion solely, and we're all based in Gatineau, Quebec. And I don't foresee a future where we don't do shows in Gatineau, Quebec, because we're all based here. And a lot of why we do this is because we love our city. I've lived here my whole life. Steven quite literally could have been the mayor of this city. Patrick, I think you've been here your whole life too, right?
Yeah, I grew up here. Yeah.
So we really love this city, and we really we've championed it.
I've only been here
Mrs.
since
Uno,
I was
not Mrs. Uno has been here since she was 7. May not like the city as much as we do.
Nah, I still love it.
It's a great place though. So like we'll continue doing Gatineau shows forever, and like it's a lot simpler knowing that we have our ring here, we have a school here, and so on and so forth. But do we want to do mystery wrestling in other cities?
Of course.
Absolutely.
We've talked about it already. Like, it's been brought up.
We've definitely discussed it amongst each other. There's a lot of administrative and a lot of like, for every puzzle that we have to solve now, we at least have already pre-solved 50 of the puzzles.
Yeah.
And so it's all established. The issue with going to another city is that we have to start fresh, essentially, because we would love to do a Canadian tour. We'd love to hit some different Canadian cities. And, I would love to say Mystery Wrestling is coming to Toronto or Mystery Wrestling is coming to Vancouver. And we would love to go to America for sure. But then the issue is I own our wrestling ring. How do we get a wrestling ring?
Yeah.
We have lighting that's established in our building. How do we get the lighting? I have a whole staff of people that will do it for dirt cheap, which, hey, I'm sorry, staff, for saying that out loud. But I have students that are willing to put in the time.
Yeah.
I have people that live in Gatineau that are willing to pay the time. How do we complete that? So how do we figure out internet? How do we test this stuff in advance? There's a lot. Plus travel.
It's like
For as much travel it is to get people here, then I'll have to get the whole team traveling to a place. There's a lot of questions we have to answer. But yeah.
it's like not to be too much inside baseball, but like the joke is that we spend way too much. Well, he spends way too much money on this show.
It's
I
a
can't
problem.
even say we, but so
It
like
would be significantly more.
exactly, and like we're like finally starting to see the green, and so it would take so much.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to essentially like double or triple at least our Patreons and all that stuff to like even consider it. But man, oh man, would it be the best? Like.
But I'll put it out there. If you want a partner and you want to pay for half of it, or more, then I don't know what camera to look at this, so I make it really honest. Hey, please, we would love your support. If you want to bring Mystery Wrestling to your city, if you could figure out all the answers to the questions beforehand, we'll do it. Also, bring a lot of money.
And I was gonna say Doink, but never mind.
I'm pretty sure he passed away.
Yeah. Rest in peace. I'm sorry.
R.I.P.
Some version of Doink.
There are other Doinks out there, though. That is true.
If he gave somebody his blessing, we want that Doink.
I'm pretty sure people are doing it regardless of his blessing.
But especially the blessing.
BMP played him in Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, I mean,
So technically
there's an
had a Doink.
Alabama Doink. There's a lot of Doinks out there. When I started wrestling 20 years ago, there were 2 Doinks actively in our scene, and neither of them were Doink. The real Doink. You know what I mean?
Well, growing up, the real Doink was doing the indies. That's why to me, so I wasn't trying to make a joke.
No,
out
of course.
Like I just instantly was like Doink, but then I was like shit. But
yes, so that we summarize it, yes, we would love to go to your city. Mystery Wrestling, though, for the time being, will be in Gatineau, Quebec. Will we do a show in another city? I think it's a thing we want to do.
We hope so.
We hope so, but right now we have no immediate plan. But if we do, we will tell everyone because we'll have to fill that building to make sure we don't lose money more so than we already do. Next question, Patrick.
yes. All right.
What else are the people on patreon.com/mystery wrestling talking about?
So this is the last one on Patreon, unless somebody else has written since then, but I'm sorry. We're going to get you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll get you on the next one for sure. We appreciate your support.
This is from, I hope I'm saying this right, Ellie or Eli Bennett. Ellie Bennett?
I think that's Eli.
Eli Bennett. Sorry, I'm also French.
All excuses.
Yeah, that's my default for any mistake I ever make.
It's all right. I'm French, so I'm full of excuses and I'm a coward.
Wow, he can say that because he's French.
That's right. Come on. All right. So from Eli Bennett, would love to hear about the extremely ruled match from the last show. That was one of my favorite matches ever, and I was wondering if you could talk a bit about the match and how much fun you had watching it.
Yeah. I think there'll be a bigger picture stuff too. When we book Mystery Wrestling, a lot of people are like, wow, Evil Uno's a genius for doing this. I don't book what happens in the matches. I just know what wrestlers I like, and I know what wrestlers I think have good ideas, and I'll let them have their ideas. That match is 100% Cecil Nix. And we'll give him his flowers here publicly, and we'll keep doing it because you're going to see Cecil Nix practically every show. Mystery Wrestling, before it became a public brand, was actually a student show that me and Cecil Nix was running.
Yeah.
So a lot of the zanier ideas that you see on Mystery Wrestling is actually not from my brain. It would be from Cecil Nix's brain. He is incredibly gifted at playing with the medium of wrestling and just, tweaking it so that it becomes comedic. Not necessarily doing over the top comedy, but as much as like what he likes to do specifically is like give him a rule set and he'll play with it.
Yeah.
And so he's been pitching this specific idea for months. And to be completely honest, and I think every time, and this will shoot me in the foot, please still vote for me Booker of the Year, but I'll shoot myself in the foot here. Every match that people has enjoyed from the shows that are comedy are ones that I ended up being like, okay, Cecil, what do you want to do? The show's in 2 days. So that was one of them. He pitched to do this specific match. He asked to wrestle London Lightning. London Lightning is one of the local students. You're going to see him everywhere in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And so he is 100% the father of that idea and of every idea within that match. But as far as watching it, I've never laughed as much in my life as when he went through that table. And that's the other beauty, I think, of doing Mystery Wrestling is I don't ask any details from the wrestlers.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd rather not. At least that way, if they do something stupid, I could point the blame at them. But it leads to me having genuine reactions. That table thing is just something I would never have considered. And when it happened, it's like a lightning bolt hit me in the brain, and I just started laughing like crazy. I couldn't control myself anymore.
It's since like it was so good. And one thing also is like I consider myself to have a good wrestling brain, and like when it comes to filming wrestling, I'm always predicting spots and like knowing where to shoot. Same with Danny, who was like he's like my Padawan, but he's like surpassed me. I feel like in a lot of ways.
Yes, he does the roaming cam at our Mystery Wrestling.
Yeah, and shit, what was that? Yeah, so like when that happened, like on the switcher, I wasn't even like fast enough to catch it perfectly. And even Danny, like he just wasn't filming there. And then for the clip, I really made sure we had it nicely. But like even live, like it switches right at the good time, but we almost missed it. And that's like a testament to like how he thinks like he's like, you're like one of the smartest wrestling brains. I'm a wrestling brain. And he like outworked us.
And collectively, he's a bigger brain than both of us.
Yeah. It's crazy.
He does. It was. I mean, I think we could say this too, and I don't think we need to hide it. That is, I think, by far our most posted clip ever.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of our business model is the vertical video. Like I think our show's live, incredible. You get to watch it for free. That's like a great selling point. And putting it on Patreon is how we fund our stuff. But the reality of it is what actually helps us grow is those vertical videos, because those are short and they can be reshared so often. That one alone has been viewed over 10 million times across all platforms.
Yeah, like all versions of it across everywhere.
That is what a viral hit is.
Yeah.
And so we've had a few of those as of yet, and they've all come from the mind of Cecil Nix.
Yeah.
And so this one by far, and it's a combination of how funny it is, how stupid it is, our great camera work, the way our layout is, and us just laughing like crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the genuine moments we're trying to capture with Mystery Wrestling, and that one was just, I don't think we'll ever top it. But then again, I never thought we were gonna top the food fight match. I never thought we would top Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I get constantly surprised, and that's kind of part of the fun for us at Mystery is like we always want to upstage ourselves, but we don't know if it's possible because I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know what the wrestlers are doing. I have no clue. And so like I just assemble something and just hope that they believe in the idea as much as us. And obviously it's worked out.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever had as much fun at any wrestling show consistently as I have with Mystery.
Oh yeah.
It's always surprising, it's always funny, and it's always got good wrestling too.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like, hey, we're fantastic, but like
it's not all us.
It's
not
not.
A lot of the wrestlers
Yeah.
and the team that helps us.
We're so lucky. Like,
and our crowd also is really taken to it.
Great too.
The first few shows they may not have understood what the assignment was, but by now everyone knows.
Yeah,
we're here for the surprises. We're gonna get some laughs. Let's fully engage with it. I think like Mrs. Uno said, it's not wrong to say this, but it is the most fun I've ever had at wrestling shows. And every time the show is done, I'm so excited for the next one. I get so excited, and then I can't believe
mystery high after the show.
we talk about that. We have what is considered the mystery high, 420 mystery high, blaze it. And usually what happens is the show happens, and for a couple days we're like, we're having the best time of our lives. And then we realize we have to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Mystery wrestling. Not to keep patting ourselves on the back. But especially that match is that's what we're all about.
Yeah.
Specifically that match and a lot of our zany stuff. I think that's what mystery wrestling is all about.
Yeah, just original, outside of the box wrestling. Like, I don't know. I feel like the wrestling for the longest time has been in a cycle of just like tropes, reusing tropes, and which is fine and it's cool and stuff.
And we have that too. Like we still do good guy versus bad guy wrestling, and we do it is not hard to go, hey, you know what would make a good wrestling match? If I put two great wrestlers together.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But I think what we do is like, okay, what if we took two great wrestlers, but then we told them to have blindfolds on?
Yeah.
That's the type of stuff we do. And I think everyone else in wrestling has figured out how to provide good wrestling. We're trying to provide outside of the box wrestling.
Exactly. And like also I feel like without like a bit like one of my favorite animes, One Punch Man, I feel like without all those tropes it can't exist and it can't be as good as it is. So like we can't pretend like we're better than it, but it's just like it's cool that we can coexist and just like work off of this stuff and have kooky ideas and
and it's go on.
In my mind, the whole goal of mystery wrestling is for the wrestlers and the fans to have the best freaking time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a beauty of our shows too. Not to keep rambling on this one question. There's like I think 8 more other questions. But like we give freedom of expressions to our wrestlers, and a lot of wrestlers, when we started this, didn't fully understand the concept, and now like our shows are the driving force for a lot of wrestlers. You would think like, oh, I can't believe he got these people. Those people most of the time are the ones that want to do our shows.
Yeah.
And
I'm gonna cut you off on this one so that we can go to another question, because I think you're about to answer a question that someone
okay. All right. Well, on that note, Mystery Wrestling Rules, nominate me Booker of the Year.
That's right.
Next up are Twitter questions.
So, I guess should I read the Twitter handle? Or
I would do
name?
Twitter handle just in case,
Okay.
Because no one knows what their username would be. It will change by tomorrow.
This is true. All right. This is from Silly Goose. Mm-hmm. Great name. I would just like to know if the promotion is doing good and if there's any wish list you have for the future.
Okay, so I will. I think this is a quick one to answer. Are we doing well? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I think yes.
I think better than we expected, but like we could always be doing like better for sure.
Yeah, and when you start a new project, like we had a vision, and we also talked about like we don't think this will make money for a very, very long time.
Yeah, we have to live with it.
We don't make money yet.
Yeah.
But we are so close to not having to lose money, which to most people would be like, well, why do you do it? This is the point where from here forward it will go on, and you would think we'll be like, oh, okay, they can finally make money. We're probably just going to do dumber and bigger ideas. Yeah. But like, yes, I think we're doing well. The fact that we're doing this right now, I think, is a sign that we are.
That we feel like there's enough of a demand for extra content. Or like, there's just, I don't know. I feel like we get a lot of support, and I feel like the content we give out is good, but it's not a lot. So I feel like I don't know if it's like,
we're trying to
just we rule. We're the best. Are you doing great?
That's true.
I think we're doing good.
I think so. I don't know.
it's going in a great direction, and I think if we keep, it's gonna just keep getting good. Yeah, but it's doing good. I'm super happy.
We're really happy with it. And if this was strictly a financial thing, we'd say like, whatever. But if we're talking about like, do we think mystery wrestling is going to be a thing, and do we think mystery wrestling is something we're going to keep investing in for probably years? Yeah. I mean this, and I mean this with no like hyperbole. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be my contribution to wrestling. I've wrestled for 20 years, but I legitimately think when I will be done wrestling or being done involved in wrestling, this is what I will have created in wrestling. And like, maybe that sounds like gratuitous, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But I genuinely think that like we have a concept that I can do until I'm 90 if I wanted to. And it's only going to evolve with the way wrestling evolves too. So I'm very excited.
It'll evolve with the wrestlers that come into the scene as well, because a lot of the ideas we put on them. So
exactly, and so I think yes. Is it successful? Is this going well? Yes. Yeah. On the second part of the question, wish list of what we would like to do. I don't want to talk about any specific matches because every stupid match that I think isn't possible
becomes possible.
Ends up becoming possible so quickly when you're like, all you have. I don't want to lead into any of the surprises I think we'll have in store, but like every time I think like, oh, I should reach out and just see, it doesn't seem like a possibility. Most of the time, it's pretty close to happening. So I don't want to talk about dream matches, but I do have a wish list, and it comes back to like our previous questions. One. Yes, I would love to, not lose money. Yeah. If we could come around to a point where I don't have to keep dipping into my personal bank account, that would be great. Two, I would love to go to another city. We would love to do mystery wrestling, in another Canadian city and an American city as well. Yeah. And if you're real crazy, I don't know how we're going to do this. We'd love to do a European tour. Absolutely. That would be incredible. But above that all, I also would like to do a larger mystery show.
Yes, a super mystery.
Yeah, and we've kind of discussed it, and we're not quite sure what that concept can be. But we'd like to do what we consider a super mystery show, where we'll still tell you nothing that's going to happen, but like we're gonna preface it with, please, we've spent 5 times as much. The venue holds 2,000. You gotta show up. You gotta show. Yeah. So we definitely want to do something crazy like that down the line. Any wish list for you guys?
I have a wish list, but all I want to say about it is that I would love for us to do a mystery rumble sometime.
Yes. Yeah, we have discussed that for sure.
That's my wish.
We've definitely discussed doing that at some point.
Yeah, hell yeah. Wish list. I mean, my ultimate super dream would be to run one in Japan and run one in Uganda for soft ground wrestling.
I would.
The soft ground wrestling we could have to live with the fact that it would probably be pre-taped, but that would be amazing. Just like Uno and the boys, we go to Uganda.
Goes to Uganda. Yeah. Hey, you want to go to Uganda, Steve? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Also, like DDT Pro, I'm like such a big fan of them, and if in a way, shape, or form we could ever collaborate with them, whether it be have them do Japanese commentary on our stuff or whatever, that would be like.
We haven't talked about this publicly, but like a lot of my influences onto what I like for mystery is DDT Pro Wrestling. Attack Pro Wrestling in the UK would do shows where they wouldn't announce who was there, and they'd always have different invites, and like even the way they do social media and announce stuff, that's like something I essentially picked from them. So like we bear our influences. DDT Pro Wrestling, we would love to cooperate with, but even beyond that, I just think they do incredible shows. And we would love to feature some people from there as well.
Oh yeah. Also, I was thinking, I don't know like how long this podcast is, or like if we're going out to like 2 hours now.
No. We're at about 50 minutes, so I think we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Oh shit! Damn. Okay. Well, all right, perfect then. So yeah, just like if we're successful or not is like, I feel like we've been doing this for the love of the game. That's like what we've been wanting, and I think the main goal was to just like shine light on people we think really deserve it. Like to me, Cecil Nix and Psycho Mike are like two people that I've always thought the world of them, and like it's awesome to see them get some love. And to me, so for me already, that is like the biggest success. But I'm not the one dropping all the cash too. So
I mean, to play on that one, like a lot of what Mystery Wrestling, yes, beyond like showcasing weird zany wrestling, we're trying to make a platform for Canadians to go on to bigger things. You know, like a lot of people don't watch Canadian independent wrestling. And I feel like we have some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. And because of visa, like it's not easy getting a visa in America. It's not easy getting a visa in Japan. And because nobody watches the Canadian content, it's very hard for these Canadians to go on to become bigger things. Like a lot of what held me back for the first 15 years is that. And so a lot of what we're doing too is like hopefully shining a light on some of the best Canadians and hopefully building a platform that becomes big enough that maybe one day Mystery Wrestling can be the people who get visas for these people, or maybe at least can be the platform where a Von Vertigo can go to, and then Von Vertigo gets picked up from Impact or picked up from AEW or WWE or Ring of Honor, or even just goes to Japan.
Yeah, and like we won't get mad if our like best acts get, although they're not ours to begin with. Yeah, so like if people that we book a lot get signed, like we're just going to be super happy for them.
I'll say
like,
right now, if a major company is willing to give Psycho Mike hundreds of thousands of dollars to wrestle exclusively for them, we'll be extremely happy, because that means we've done our job. Like we put him on the platform, he did the work, he made the content that became popular, and if that means he gets to live a life of pro wrestling out in the real world of pro wrestling and actually financially be living off of it, that would make us happy.
That would be the best.
Yeah, that would be the best.
And the cherry on top of all of this is if it's like successful enough that we could just like me and you just be able to focus more and more of our energy on it, and just like Mrs. Uno too, Steve, and like just as we go on, if we're able, like I think
we would like to live off this.
We would drop everything and just do this full time in a heartbeat.
I mean, I would still work for All Elite Wrestling, obviously, but
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our side projects, we probably would stop to just do this if it meant that this Steven says if this single-handedly paid our bills, then for sure. And
like
you know, I think that's a tough ask to start with at this time, but like we see a vision that a few years from now we can actually get to that point. So
I think that's Steven's wish list item for
and another musical chair.
Musical chairs, 2 electric boogaloo. What other question we got on there?
It's true. All right. The worst part is like we're like, oh yeah, this one's gonna be fast. We're gonna answer.
No. I like talking.
Both of you like talking.
Yeah,
so
we're
it's easy to fill time with that.
If you ask me one question, I'll run on for 20 minutes.
That's right.
Unless it's me asking a question, then you're just like, yeah.
Oh, hey, that's home brain, you know.
Yeah, that's
home brain.
The camera needs to be on, so
he's got to film him.
I'll remember that.
All right. So next question. Ooh.
Do you want me to open it on mine? I can read it.
Beast.
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 Oh, a rare beast.
A rare beast.
Oh,
I know it.
A rare beast on Twitter says,
I'd love to know the process for getting the camera set up for Twitch and on a budget, because the camera work is much better than most would accomplish, and every clip is fantastic for it.
That's your department, Patrick.
That's
a compliment.
You know, it's so...
He's an emotional man. He might cry.
Thank you. Shit. Where do I start? How do I not take 10 hours to answer this? Thank you. It's amazing.
I'll handle the Twitch side after you're done. I'll just tell them that portion of it after.
So I think like one thing with wrestling I've noticed a lot is a lot of stuff's filmed on camcorders or like video cameras, and a lot of the venues are low light. And so I feel like it's advantageous to use DSLR cameras because the lenses open up a whole world of possibilities to have the most light possible enter your camera. So you have like decent looking footage. Your ISO is not, I'm trying not to be too much inside baseball.
No, get in there.
Yeah, but like that way your ISO doesn't have to be so jacked up, so there's not so much noise in the footage. But one thing is also like decided to go with Panasonic in my cameraman journey, a decade ago, and it was better than Canon at the time for shooting video in low light, which is what I really wanted. And now it's become Sony's the ultimate one. So like I'm talking about my setup's all Panasonic, but if I'm suggesting if you're like buying everything from scratch, Sony. But anyways, I have GH4s, 2 GH4s, and
cool, dude.
I don't know. Is it too much? Is it too tight?
Keep going. We don't know what it means, but that's why you have this role and I don't.
So yeah, so I have I noticed when I go to live shows and watch Raw and all that, they always have 2 hard cams, at least minimum. One is wide, one is zoomed in. So I was like, I'll just replicate that and have the 2 same cameras right next to each other with the same settings, which is something like, it's just having all the same cameras is the big difference. Also, like the second it clashes, it
feels
looks
uniform,
unprofessional.
for sure.
Yeah.
Simplified, basically.
Yeah. And so I'll have my boy Damien on one. He's a film student, and he does a great job on the moving Roman. He'll like try to keep people head to toe because we're trying to remain conscious of the vertical clips. And I have a super wide one that I could always go to and zoom in and go do some tracking for the vertical clips. And it's just good for the crowd and all that schnaz. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Danny, the roaming guy, he's like my Padawan. I like trained him basically to be a freelancer, and he bought the same camera I had but better, so a GH5. So anyways, it's a mix of all of that, and the fact that like he films the way I want wrestling to be filmed, and they're all the same cameras. The one that's the only one that's different is the roaming, so that way it's less of a clash because I'm not switching back and forth, but it's still a higher model. And the big part of all of this, why it works, is because Uno has a very expensive computer that doesn't overheat. So I have my little A10 mini switcher here, which is not ideal because I don't have a preview of each screen. So sometimes I'm going blindly through shots, and that shoots into his computer, which doesn't overheat. It's just like the biggest thing is it can't overheat.
Yeah.
And that's why like me alone with all my stuff, I could get a nice video signal, but then the stream would go to shit. So it's like, yes, it's on a budget, but still, like if we rack, like it's still like
there's thousands
almost
and
$25,000 worth of equipment we've gathered through our lives.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's another part of why it would be hard to do other cities is that we have all this equipment of high value. Like you have all your cameras, we have a switcher board, and so you handle all of the live switching. And like if you look at our mystery wrestling show, you'll see the commentary table, but that table actually goes on for like 2 other tables where other people are doing stuff. And so Steven is doing the live audio for the crowd, but also pre-mixes the sound levels so that you can hear the crowd out there. We also have is it a shotgun mic that aims at the ring from afar, so you get the people talking that are in the ring, and so we have to adjust all those levels beforehand. So his camera work feeds into a thing, his audio feeds into a thing, and on my side on the Twitch thing, I just realized that like I can do anything as long as one person handles the camera.
yeah,
Because one face cam on us is all you need. You don't need to do any more tracking. Our face cam over time will probably get better because I think that's where we can improve the most. But we realize that like you watch pro wrestling with commentary, and you never see the commentators, but you'll watch a Twitch stream and you will see the commentators. So we just kind of matched both worlds and just took advantage of the live Twitch platform. And rather than me feed in 2 webcams, it just feeds in actual great footage into the Twitch stream, and then we handle the Twitch stream on the side. So it is a budget, but it's on budget because it didn't cost $200,000, but it's still I'd say collectively, even like this podcast alone, computer, switcher, 2 cameras, 2 microphones, a headset. Well, 4 people at a table who are not getting paid, so let's not count that one. An audio switcher, like, and I don't even know what that's called. What's that called, Steven?
Mic activator.
A mic activator box.
It's a cloud lifter.
A cloud lifter?
Yeah, for the mics, so the SM7B.
Okay.
They're not loud enough, so you need that to be.
Okay, so like just that, like I don't know that content, right? But so each of us handles our little piece, but like just our little operation here is a couple $1,000s, if not more. Actually, with the cameras, it's definitely in the 10,000s. Yeah. And like, so when you watch our mystery wrestling show and you're like, wow, how do they do it on a budget, make it look so good? We didn't really do it on a budget.
We just already had a lot of the assets from other things.
Yeah, I think that's the long and short of it. I'm probably gonna cut out a bunch of my lingo.
No, to get in there.
It's so I went so technical and boring. But the big short of it is like Steve was passionately working on podcasts for like most of his life. Uno was working on live streams most of his life.
The wrestling ring and all the equipment is from handling a school and for so long.
And I've been working on video production like my whole existence almost. So it's all like.
And I'm an excellent secretary.
That's right. She answers emails and social media posts and Discord like no other.
Oh, that's right. Man.
Oh, so in a way we could all act like techs that are free, and that would cost a lot of money if we weren't there, and we all have our own equipment, so it's like a lot of love and passion for the game on each side for each aspect, and somehow miraculously we met each other and we just
together and created this beautiful beast.
Our baby.
That's how to kind of have a low budget. In a way.
Meet people who have equipment.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And trust it.
Make good connections and be a good person. Next question in the meantime. I think we have 3 or 4 more.
Yeah,
3 or 4 more. We're doing good though. We're doing okay. I hope you're enjoying the Evil Uno Mystery Podcast pilot episode. I'm just covering for time while Patrick is reading from his telephone.
That's right. All right, this one is from General Firebat.
Okay, I know
on
them.
Twitter. Yeah. What has been the reaction when asking wrestlers who have accepted and turned down an offer to appear? Mostly positive. Has it gone up or down now that you've done 7 shows?
This was the question I was afraid you were going to answer earlier.
Oh, so I think at first when I asked people, I predominantly asked friends. And I would think, like, most of the people you see on our pro wrestling shows are people that I have networked or I've known over the last 20 years. And, you know, I mean this not to be a champion for myself again, but, like, I've built a lot of good relationships. And so if I ask someone of something, they know I'm not trying to screw them over. Or they know I'm not trying to give
Fun fact, Evil Uno, not a piece of shit.
Evil Uno, not a piece of shit, does his best as much as he can. So I built a lot of, like, a lot of goodwill over the years so that if I ask someone to do something, even if they don't understand the concept, they'll show up and still give their all and then end up liking it and understanding it. So the first few shows, first show we had Abaddon, Wheeler Yuta, we had Dalton Castle. They're all personal friends that understood and were willing to do the show as a favor to me, But then when they did the show, they're like, oh my God, there's something here. And as it's graduated, I think now, especially after our last show, I think number 4, was that the one with Orange? Or was that?
Yeah, that was 4.
So number 4 and number 7 are the 2 that have gotten
number 5 was with the
5 and 7. Those 2 have given us the most goodwill with people. Yeah. I think anyone that comes to our shows ends up really enjoying it. They enjoy, they could see that everyone is passionate. Our shows are short. One of the secrets to mystery wrestling is that we try not to do a show that's more than 2 hours. I live this week to week, and I've also been in so many independent shows, but like great pro wrestling is great. But if you give them too much great pro wrestling, you may not necessarily have them come back. And so we try to keep our shows tight and short. And a lot of pro wrestlers that come in enjoy that fact too. We run a 5 p.m. show. It's done by 7. They can get to bed. They can take their 6 a.m. flights. They can enjoy themselves, so on and so forth. And we put very low pressure on people too. Because it is a mystery event, half of the appeal is that you just walk out and you've gotten half of your reaction already. Because we don't announce matches in advance, nobody ever says like, oh, give you an example. Jordan Grace is on our next wrestling show. Yes, they anticipate Jordan Grace. They have no idea what Jordan Grace is going to do. Yeah. So there is, other than you're going to see Jordan Grace, there isn't an assumption of how hard it's going to be. If I announce Jordan Grace versus Takumi Shinoku, then people will be like, oh my God, I have enough time to think about it. Oh my God, it's going to be incredible. And then if it doesn't provide that level, then people are disappointed. I don't think people can be disappointed on our show because you don't know what you're getting. That's right. And I think that's the beauty of our show. And I think that's why a lot of people enjoy it. And as we've progressed now with 7 shows, now when I ask someone, they already have heard about it. I would I'll say one, but I've asked Will Ospreay, for example, and Will Ospreay doesn't do independent shows, but he loved seeing the clips from 7 to the point that he was like, if I could, I would have absolutely done it. I just am at this point in my life where I don't do independent shows, and that's completely understandable.
Super understandable.
Completely understandable. But like that is where we are at now in the world of pro wrestling, is that people now know of it, now understand the concept of it. And so they know that if a flight to Ottawa in a little venue of 250, which is quite literally a bingo hall. It is not a figurative bingo hall. They have bingo on Thursday nights.
Literally.
It is quite literally a bingo hall. That would have a bad connotation, but like we've built this in a way that people understand, like, okay, this is more than just the bingo hall.
Yeah.
This is a live show. There is something new and exciting for it. So anyone that I have contacted has been positive. I don't think a single person I've contacted has said like, this sucks, get out of here. There are some I plan on contacting strictly to get that answer. I know you and I have talked about this, and I'm not gonna voice it out, because if he says yes, I think that's the stupidest get I've ever had. But most of the people I approach, I think, are people who would like and understand the concept. I will very rarely go to someone if I don't think they would understand. And also, we play to people's strengths. I'm not going to contact Bryan Danielson and be like, I want you to have a comedy match,
Yeah.
I would contact a person and be like, what do you like from wrestling? What do you want to do? And so we try to make people excited for their appearances, and it's only become better over time.
I think that because of the way we've run Mystery as well, that the wrestlers have really enjoyed themselves and kind of created that like environment where people want to be a part of it. I know the lighting is bad.
I was gonna say, should we turn that one up there? What do you think, Patrick?
Dark.
Yeah, can you put that middle one up there? It's right behind you, I think.
Yes-ish. But yeah, it's nice to know that wrestlers have enjoyed themselves and actually want to come to Mystery.
Yeah, it's like the best compliment. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's much better.
Heck
World's
yeah.
better. We were doing this in the middle of the day, and it's gonna rain. It's gonna rain.
No, it is raining.
Oh, it is?
Oh, it is. Well, there it is.
There it is, folks.
Anything else you guys want to add to that?
Nope.
All right, next question.
It's like best compliment ever if wrestlers stoked to work for us.
Yeah,
It's the best.
Yeah.
And it's been it's one cool thing is also like the locals and stuff that don't usually get to shine as much. Like when we tell them they have a spot on the show, they get really excited.
Yeah.
And that's pretty fun.
I feel in a lot of ways we've become a destination for Canadians to wrestle at. Like they want to be on these shows.
Yeah.
So
it's been awesome.
Which is crazy considering we've only had 7 shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how wacky they were. Because like at first, like I was like, people might want us to die or they might love us, because like wrestling Twitter can be pretty intense, especially when they feel like they're disrespecting the art.
It's been mostly positive.
Yeah, even on the door bump when it got viral, I was like, I'm sure some people are going to shit on it, and it's been like generally positive, and it's awesome. It's surprising, especially in wrestling. It's like shit.
Okay, Uno?
Yeah, I was hearing sounds upstairs.
There's a window open.
It's the blinds. Okay. Next question.
I was like, it got silent for a second
he's
there.
easily distracted.
Yeah. You're getting to see it live.
Okay, so this one's similar to one we've had from C Sentinel on Twitter. Would you ever consider doing a mystery wrestling in another city? Would it be cool to do one in the West Coast during next year's Canadian tour?
We would love to, for sure. If you mean this year's Canadian tour for AEW, we're not an AEW product, even though we have used AEW wrestlers and have, definitely taken advantage of AEW being near us a few times. But we're not attached to their product. So when they go to West Coast, that doesn't bring our ring there or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we would love to go to the West Coast for sure.
It's true. I have noticed like some of the hate comments we get is people just directly hating AEW, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I appreciate the compliment that you think our production quality is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're a little independent shop. Yes, I work for AEW, but AEW allows us to do independent projects too. We're purely an independent though.
Yeah, 100%. All right, and the last question.
Last question.
On Twitter from @Dr_Ryan. This one is very hard-hitting question.
I'm ready.
In the movie We Bought a Zoo, why do you think they really bought that zoo? That's a big life commitment, and I really can't wrap my head around it.
All right, I actually have a We Bought a Zoo story. Yeah,
Yes, great. This is
surprisingly enough. So I have this regular issue where I get very emotional when watching movies on a plane.
Oh, that's true.
And usually they're sad movies. You know, like if a dog dies in a movie, you might as well just end my life.
I get it.
And if I watched one on a plane, that plane would crash. But on a plane, I can get emotional for all kinds of things. I've been emotional for Premium Rush, which was just about a bike messenger. And late in the movie, I think he has to like deliver a bomb so that it doesn't explode. Like something like he has to get a bomb somewhere so it doesn't explode. Something like that. And a taxi hits him. And the music slows down, and I start crying. And like, it wasn't even a sad moment. But all to say, We Bought a Zoo is not a sad movie. They have a joyous moment when they finally open the zoo, and I cried so hard. And the worst part of it is it wasn't even a movie I was watching. It's one of those movies everyone is watching. And so when I started crying, I started looking around like, oh, everyone must be loving this. No one cared. Not a single soul but me was crying. So on that note, I would never open a zoo.
No.
That seems like way too much work.
Cry
like
every
a
day.
Massive undertaking.
Yeah, but I'll cry at the movie for sure.
Oh man, yeah. I have like 6 animals at home, and
I don't know how you do it.
It's insane. Like even though a lot of them are the same species, they all eat different still, and it's nuts. So a zoo, dear Lord.
Dear Lord.
Also, how do you buy? I've never seen this movie, so I don't know
remember how they buy.
how rich they are.
I remember crying. I don't really remember the. I know Matt Damon's in it. Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon's in We Bought a Zoo.
Oh, I thought it was Wahlberg.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
Is it Mark Wahlberg or
It's
Matt
okay,
Damon?
I've got Google. You go on.
Okay,
Google.
well,
But back to the question: why do you think they really bought that zoo?
tax incentives.
Tax evasion.
No, I think they did it for tax incentives. That's my
laundering
assumption.
money?
They could be laundering money. I don't think the story was a nice one. I don't think they're criminals.
I mean, you'd want your story to be nice if you're
Oh, it
laundering
is
money.
Matt Damon. You're
It
right.
was Matt Damon. There it is.
Damon.
That'll be it for today's Evil Uno's Mystery Podcast. I hope you enjoyed the pilot episode. It's currently free on YouTube. We will be uploading free portions of this to YouTube, and a portion of it will be exclusive to Tier 1 on patreon.com/mystery wrestling or mysterywrestling.com if you would like to have a simplified URL. We'll be back.
That's right.
I don't know how often we're going to do these. It will depend on how it takes to the people who listen and watch it.
If y'all like it.
If you like it, do let us know in the comments down below. Tell us what you want to see more of on our next editions. And
If you don't like us, let us know.
Also,
Yes.
And let
yeah,
us
I'd
know
love
what
to
you
know.
didn't like.
yeah, if you don't like,
I like constructive criticism, you know?
yeah,
That's
if you like dislike my tablecloth, let me know. Will I do anything about it? No. I've lived in this house for 2 years. I bought this table last week, and this is the first time I've ever used it. So
That's right.
If you don't like it, I'm not going to change it. But there are things we can change about the podcast, so do let us know. We do appreciate your feedback. We do appreciate your support. Thank you to every single patron out there. If you are not a patron yet, mysterywrestling.com. Actually, I would love to own mystery.com. Mysterywrestling.com. You could find all of our previous shows at Tier 1, including this podcast. Tier 2, we have extra content. We're about to record commentary on some matches right after this.
That's right.
You will see matches, including matches with Wheeler Yuta, Stu Grayson, a ton of wrestlers that you'll see from Mystery Wrestling. We'll be recording that. That will be exclusive to Tier 2, as well as photography from our shows, as well as our dark matches on Tier 2, as well as our other produced shows like our French shows, Zero 7.
Yep.
And if you are a maniac, and I hope you are, Tier 3, we have an exclusive amount of posters. We make art for each show. We pay for an artist who does figure photography. Every single person from that Mystery Wrestling show signs that, and so you get 30 signatures, including some people like Emi Sakura, Maki Ito, El Desperado, so on and so forth. So if you get on to Tier 3, there's an exclusive amount. That is the best way for you to support us. And also, I think the biggest return for your value, because you get all of our content and you get a poster that will only be one of 50. I genuinely think years from now, those will sell for a lot. So if you are looking for a nice little piece of history, do check out MysteryWrestling.com and check out Tier 3 of the Patron.
I usually throw a sticker in there.
There's also some stickers. Where's those stickers
Bonus
at? Should we
stickers.
display those new ones?
Might as well.
We've got some free stickers that are coming in as well. This camera right here. We have
I'll actually.
a little rainbow one
Oh, no,
right
the
there.
focus
The
won't be
focus
good.
is out, so I'll do it here.
Okay.
Yeah, keep it
And
close
we
to
have
here.
Psycho Mike's
Medical.
I'm a piece of shit. No, you're gonna have to bleep piece of shit on YouTube. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Patrick.
it's true, yeah. Oh,
We
I'm
went
gonna have
this
to-
far without swearing.
That's not true.
I've said shit a few times.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I'm sure we'll be fine. Thank you so much for listening to our very first episode of Evil Uno's Mystery Podcast, and we will be back sometime in the future.
Hopefully.